One. Yo, what up? This is the Mid-Range Ain't Dead podcast with your boy Romeo Travis, aka the Southpaw Outlaw.
You know, we got the coolest one with him, Amp Anderson.
It's your boy Ziggy.
Right.
Keep it straight simple.
Let it come in. Let it come in, Sid.
At the start of an R&B tape. It's your boy Ziggy. That boy was ready.
Yeah, it needed the work, you know.
Yeah. Hey,
we get reps up.
Muscle memory. All right, we're here now. Let's jump right into it. We're going to talk about the NFL this week. The NFL, it had an interesting week. A lot of teams lost that shouldn't have lost. A lot of teams won that, well, I wouldn't say that shouldn't have lost, unexpectedly lost. And we're going to try to cover as much of those as possible this week. But we're going to jump right in with the thrashing that happened on Monday Night Football. The Cowboys, man, I'm not a Cowboys fan. I'm actually like a low-key Cowboys hater, but they look good.
Man, let's rephrase that a little bit. Dak looks incredible. I think that looks I can't say. I guess like I said, this is the best I've seen him look.
But don't majority of NFL teams, well, Super Bowl contenders, go as the quarterback goes?
That is very true. And as of right now, and I got to give credit to, well, give a little credit to the defense, but Diggs specifically is playing amazing football.
The defense looked
really good, but you know what I mean? The Eagles
it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, the Eagles offense isn't great because like I said, their defense looked great, but then when they went up against a good offense like Tampa Bay in week one,
they give them 40
they got thrashed. Mm-hmm. But then you go from the Chargers into the Eagles, both offenses aren't just spectacular like that. So, you know what I mean? The defense had a chance to, I guess, show that they're a little bit better, but how much do we believe in that, you know? But, yeah, I mean, you know, the Cowboys, y'all Cowboy fans out there, man, you know, I know y'all get excited every year, but, you know, early in the season, y'all could rack up some of these wins.
They actually might make the playoffs.
Yeah, they in the NFC least, but, you know.
Nah, that's exactly what I'm saying. You know, that division, somebody got to do it, and you ain't looking at the Giants. You ain't looking at these Eagles. I didn't really have a takeaway from this game. I mean, yeah, Dak did look good, but like I said, it was Philly. The thing I brought out of this game between the Eagles and the Cowboys is like the Falcons' defense must be terrible if they made the Eagles look like they could score points in week one, because it wasn't looking good for Hurts. The numbers look good at the end of the day, and if you got him in fantasy football, you happy. But man,
you know, I was watching the game, man, and you know, Hurts, a former Alabama guy, so I do like him, but he missed a lot of easy throws that you would think that there's. I mean, I never played football, or especially, you know, I mean, NFL level, obviously, so I don't know how easy these throws seem like they are. But it looked like he missed a lot of kind of gimmies, and I don't know, man. He got to get it together, man, because it looked rough last night for a minute there.
Are y'all watching the regular broadcast or y'all watching the Manning cast?
No, the Manning cast is probably the best thing on TV as far as the NFL goes, as far as I'm concerned.
I didn't watch the Manning cast, man. I'm not.
It's amazing.
I heard it was cool, but I don't watch the Manning cast. If I want to just hear two brothers, you know, shoot the shots back and forth, like, I'll go to a bar. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to hear him, but I'd rather just watch the game how I normally watch the game.
Personally, it's a little more than that, because they're actually breaking down the game the way that I wouldn't even think about breaking down the game. So I think it's kind of interesting, but, you know, teach his own.
Yeah, they're taking a lot of time off, so I think it's like they won't be back till mid-season, but it's been like the most talked about thing. Like, I know it didn't go, players only didn't work for the NBA, but this is working. So
yeah, you know, they said the NBA is full of you know, they old haters, but so like it's different. I don't know. That's what they said. You know, I'm not like, I don't know them people, mind you, I don't know them, but it's easier for quarterbacks, I think, and NFL guys to talk about what they're seeing, because it's literally like a play. Like the NFL is not as ad lib as the NBA.
So what's crazy is as I'm watching the Manning breakdown yesterday, and this is why I like it because they make you look at the game different. So Eli Manning said, and Peyton agreed, and they also had Matt Stafford on there, and they all kind of agreed on this. They was like, it's a lot harder to recognize the defense when guys are actually in the wrong position. You know what I mean? So he was saying like Eli Manning was saying, you know, I've thrown interceptions and missed guys because somebody on defense wasn't supposed to be there. Like he's actually in the wrong spot. You know what I mean? Like
mistakes.
You know what I mean? Like he actually got he actually probably got yelled at or got his ass kicked in the field room because he was in the wrong position. But that actually messed me up. You know what I mean? Because I know where he's supposed to be at.
Football's more structured. Like you know what I mean? Like it's more controlled. And that's why I think it's easier for ex-NFL players to kind of like pay homage to current players because now like the NBA is more creative. It's a lot of one-on-one. It's a lot of, you know, kind of doing your own thing. And so a lot of them guys were like, well, I could have did that or I could do that. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of just being like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was interesting, man. Cowboys looked good. Eagles, not so much.
Yeah. Yeah, well, what about the Rams and Bucs and how the Bucs got smacked?
Man, I feel like I don't know, man. The Rams, I had a feeling about them when Stafford got there, and I feel like it's coming to fruition at this point, man, because they look great. Like so, like you know, I mean, you usually don't see teams put together a full game. I can't say flawless. I didn't even watch the game. I was just kind of going off of like
I watched the game.
I was just kind of going off of some of the highlights that I've seen, and I tried to listen to people break down the game, and everybody kind of said the Rams pretty much played a perfect football game.
The Rams look good, man. Like they have a defensive line that can dominate the game, and that's really like when you got the best player in football who has his hand in the dirt, who can control the line of scrimmage, man. He's putting people 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage every play. You got to double team him. You got to account for him. They move him to the outside. And then you got great cover corners and, you know, Jalen Ramsey and those type of things. And then you match that with a high power offense, man. They look really good. Like they look like, you know, they look like Super Bowl front runners.
That was probably the best like performance that I've seen so far. I would, you know, that was impressive to, you know, Aaron Donald's going to do what Aaron Donald's going to do, but they're playing with Ramsey now. They're moving him inside sometimes, outside sometimes. It's they got a whole different ball game over there, and it's funny to see a team clicking this early in the season like this. Like this is before they even gelled, so this might turn into a long year out there in the NFC for them other teams.
Yeah, man.
Well, do you think that when, especially in football, when teams that start getting going this early, that they're going to hit a wall or they're going to hit into some kind of adversity in the season because the football season is so long and they added a game that only adds to the potential of, you know, like if Stafford goes down or if, you know, Jalen Ramsey get hurt, God forbid, either one of those guys go down like that. Do you think that playing this well this early is a good thing or a bad thing? Because, you know, sometimes you want to climb, and sometimes you want to just.
I think if you were to ask the Rams, they probably would say that they aren't even playing their best yet because, mind you, Stafford just got there. So he don't even, like, he knows those guys, but he don't know them yet. You know what I mean? He's still figuring out his way around the offense, even though he looks amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like, it looked like he got it.
I mean,
but I'm sure
14,
if you.
how many years you been in the league?
I don't know. How much?
14 years?
13, 12 or 13 maybe.
I mean, he's a
Came
veteran.
in 2009. So
Okay, so yeah, he's 12 years in.
Yeah, I mean, he's a veteran, bro. Like, and they run similar offense. Like, I don't think they can get much better. Like, you know what I mean? Offensively, I think it's possible.
You may be right, but like the numbers may not show that they getting better. But you know what I mean? That the numbers don't always tell it all either.
And when you got a new team, like this is a surprise for everybody. Like, you know what I mean? Like everybody's still getting adjusted. It's early on. Like you're gonna take these lumps early on. with teams with this prolific type of offense. Like, we're going to talk about the Chiefs later on, but people are starting to figure out the Chiefs. Like, they kind of like, there's this guard Tyreek Hill and whatever else happens. But I think they're going to, like I said, they're NFC front runners and maybe possibly Super Bowl front runners. But I think playing this well this early is kind of a big like a too much of a hit. Like, I don't know how to say it, but like we starting so fast that the only thing we can do is go down.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Usually you want to see a quarterback who's done it before. And, Stafford, he got all the regular season experience, but he wasn't playing too many playoff games up in Detroit. So, that's a whole different ball game.
I mean, the pressure probably won't necessarily be on Stafford until they get to the postseason, because it's just exactly what you just said, Zig. I think he's played like one playoff game his whole career in Detroit or something of that sort. But, the pressure only comes for most good quarterbacks, especially into the postseason. For a guy like him who hasn't proven himself in the postseason, the pressure is going to be on. But as far as the regular season goes, I mean, he's probably in his comfort zone right now, especially knowing that he has a dominant defense on the other side of the ball. And he got, Cooper Kupp, Woods, Deshaun Jackson. I'm not sure the running backs that
Henderson.
they have.
He didn't even play that game.
Yeah, but they got Sean he got Sean McVay, directing all these pieces. So I mean, at this point, he's probably in a groove, in a comfort zone.
Yeah.
And to me, I think it'll get even better for him. But the pressure won't come into the postseason.
Yeah, I don't think that teams are going to be scared to travel to LA for playoff games either. So they right. So they might not have the same home field that you duck in the Green Bays. You don't want to go do that. But you get LA in January, but you might be your fans there.
Yeah, true. But the difference is now when teams go in there, they're not thinking about like, all right, if they stop our offense, we know we can stop their offense. That won't necessarily be the case. Because the Rams defense has always been stout, especially since Aaron Donald got there for the most part. And now that, that they're electrifying for the most part on offense, which they had good years in the past on offense, but it was more so Sean McVay drawing up what they had to do. Like, now you got a competent quarterback that's a gunslinger. Like, So it's different.
My quarter, I try to draft him in every league, bro. I try to get him in every single league, man, because he like that.
Yeah.
But we're gonna keep going. We're gonna go to Cleveland versus Chicago and how the Browns defense introduced themselves to Justin Fields. Where they had Myles Garrett had the single game sack record for the Browns with 4.5 sacks. And I actually watched a piece of this game too, and he had him in his hands. Like, he had him for the fifth sack, and he spun out, and then he fell, and somebody else touched him first. So he could have had more than 4.5 sacks.
I feel like the Bears should fire Matt Nagy.
He should have been fired. Like, you can't fire. Like, to me, like, if you had all opportunities to fire a coach before the season, and he comes in and do the same thing he did last season, just let him just let him finish the season.
I feel like if the Bears play another game like that with a plan like that for Justin Fields, they should fire Matt Nagy, because
it ain't Matt. I mean, they don't have an offensive line. They said it before the season. Like,
but you have
that's why Andy Dalton hurt.
Your game plan has to revolve around who you just drafted. So if you're gonna play him, you got to get him on the outside, rolling out, use his athleticism to your advantage. And I don't feel like the game plan that they had, knowing who that they were playing with the Browns, with Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, and all those guys. I just feel like it was poorly. It was really unprepared. And I don't blame any of that on Justin Fields. I blame it strictly on Matt Nagy. I thought that was trash.
The Browns okey-doked them a little bit too. They had Myles Garrett playing inside defensive tackle, which did not look like that was something that a guard has ever seen a player like him on the inside. So, he was tearing through him. But the fact that Nagy said he doesn't know if he's going to start Dalton Fields or Foles next game, like, it don't sound like they got any kind of plan on how this season's supposed to go. And I would be worried about putting a rookie quarterback into a situation where they seem totally unprepared, like you were saying.
Dog, they drafted Fields over 100 days ago, at what, number 10, 11? You know what I mean? Why isn't there any kind of plan for him to play? Did he plan on not playing him at all this year? I don't understand.
Man, when you go into preseason and they say you don't have a line before the season even starts, that man don't need to be on the field because he's going to be running for his life. And this is a different kind of run for your life. Like, you know what I mean? Because like these boys as fast as you, they bigger than you, and they hit harder than anybody you ever seen. So like I'm with the not playing Justin Fields just because for longevity. Like I'm trying to see how they're going to be down to, you know, they're in the Green Bay's division. So I don't want him to be all world, but I also don't want to see him get carried off on the stretcher. You know what I'm saying? With 9 sacks, there's only one thing that you can only get hurt. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing good that can happen.
Yeah, you're not getting experience.
No,
like,
you're not getting, you running for your life.
I think that the reason why I think you had to fire Nagy before the season is because it's a conflict to have a quarterback you're trying to develop and a coach who's coaching for his job at the same time, because one got the long-term interest at heart and the other one is like, I need to win right now. Or
Today.
Yeah, so I just think if you in that position where you drafting that quarterback, you better pair him with somebody you know is going to be around. You don't want to, you know, wait and have the Baker Mayfield situation where you're on like 4 coaches and like
4 years. I mean, it's crazy. I think if they were going to fire him, they should have fired him immediately after the season. Now they need to go in there and tell him, like, look, man, we're not firing you. We're going to play the season out. Whatever happens, happens. Let's just go out here and be the best team we can be. Because when you got your job, like you just said, when your job's on the line, you coach different. Like, you know what I'm saying? You coaching out of a place of fear. Like, oh, we got to win this. Like, not like doing what's best for my team. But either way, the Bears aren't going to be very good this year. They have a good defense, but with that offense keep putting their defense in bad situations, the Browns, I mean, you're going to get smacked. So for me, the best game of the weekend was the Sunday night football game with the Packers and the 49ers. I think the game should have been over earlier. You know, it was the Packers had a chance to bury them earlier in the game right before halftime. They let them get a 68-yard kickoff return, let them score right before half, get the ball again, and let them score again. And went from 17-0 to 14-17 in, you know, like 5 minutes. And like, that's too fast. I still have a lot of questions about our defense. They played better, you know, but the offense played better as well. It still looked like they still working on a lot of preseason kinks or not playing preseason kinks. They, you know, it's always better to be ugly and win than to be ugly and lose.
Look, man, that's the most emotion that I've seen from Aaron Rodgers all year. I mean, obviously it's been a short season so far. We're only in week 3 going to week 4, but that's the Aaron Rodgers that I think we've all been wanting to see. You know what I mean? Him out there, you know what I mean, fully engaged, fully into the game, it seems like, you know, and now to the point where it looks like that, you know, that New Orleans game may have been a aberration, like, you know what I mean? Outlier, and it was just a bad week. But Aaron Rodgers and, you know what I mean, them Packers, man, they're looking like the team that I think most people actually thought that they would be coming into the season. At least they're starting to round in the form, you know, at least I would think, because that San Fran game, you know, Aaron Rodgers hasn't had the most success against San Fran in the last, you know what I mean?
Whenever.
I don't even know when the last time he's really had.
We beat them the last couple of years, but you know, they were expected to be sorry. Like, yeah. we haven't ever beat San Francisco when we both were expected to be good teams. Like, you know, like we faced them in the NFC Championship when Cap was the quarterback and he ran all over us. Then we faced them again in the NFC Championship, and then Mostert had like 400 yards rushing wise. And so, like, every time when we faced them, we never beat them when both teams were expected to be good. So even though we were underdogs going into the game, like I feel like we have the better roster. We should have beat them, you know. But
it was a good win, though.
It was a great win, man.
It was a good win for them.
It was a great win.
They needed a good win like that. You know what I mean? They won against Detroit last week, but it was a lackluster game. It was a game that it was a win, but it almost felt like a loss because the game was just so close. But I feel like they needed a win like that against San Fran. You know what I mean? Out there, wasn't it in San Francisco?
It was in San
Yeah,
Francisco.
you know what I mean. So
It was on the
and
road.
it was on the road too. So I like that. That was a good win for Green Bay.
Yeah, they're going home to face the Steelers. Looks like the Steelers are getting all the injured players back. So it's gonna be TJ Watt on the other side. He was Aaron Rodgers was very, very complimentary of Mike Tomlin today, and people are starting to speculate that that's what he might be looking at next year's headed that way. But that's a conversation for another time.
He need to go to the Browns, man, so I could just watch him play here, man. He don't need to go. Pittsburgh is bad. Like, it's all around bad. I don't want to see him.
Hey man, we'll gladly invite you over to Denver.
Well, I'm not changing
I'm
teams.
just saying. I didn't say you had to change teams.
If I
But
was
if
to
you want
change
to root for
teams,
Rodgers, he gonna be root for him in the blue and the blue and orange.
if I was going to change teams, it would have been this summer.
And they might not be able to get rid of Teddy up out of there.
Yeah, man.
Teddy playing good. Man.
Teddy is playing good, man.
Teddy
I got-
Teddy earned this spot.
Man, like I said, man, Teddy not gonna lose you the game, and that's all we need. And my man Teddy B been holding it down.
Speaking of Teddy and the Broncos and the Raiders, and they're both 3-0 in the NFC West. AFC West, excuse me, AFC West. It's looking like it's possibly the best conference in the AFC. They have some really talented teams. The schedule's been
a little light for them teams.
But you can only beat who in front of you.
Yeah, you can only play who's in front of you. But they've definitely had the advantage of playing some of the lesser teams in the beginning. I mean, the Raiders actually have beaten a couple good teams. So
the Dolphins ain't one of those good teams, despite what I'm wearing. We're not good.
Well, I'm saying that. Well, that I'm more so speaking of that Ravens win.
Yeah.
But us personally, Denver, I know we haven't played the greatest competition, but you know what I mean, those wins, they add up, man. They add up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it gives those guys confidence. It's giving Teddy B more chemistry with the players with the players on offense. And hopefully, man, we can keep it going, man. Give my man Jerry Jeudy some time to get back so we can be back at full strength on offense. So man, I like it, man. I like what we're doing, man.
I mean, I would hope you would like being 3-0. Like if you don't like that, something.
But still, I'm still being patient because we've started quick before.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say. When you're in a good conference like this, well, we don't know if this is a good conference. Like when you're in a good conference that starts off good like this, that means I feel like any team can beat anybody.
You got the last place Kansas City Chiefs right now.
and you got the Chiefs who haven't started to get rolling yet. And once they get rolling, I feel like that they can go undefeated in conference.
They very well could, or they can go 500.
Either way, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. With a conference that good, like, well, that even anything can happen and balanced. So I think that that those teams, like I said in the chat, the group chat, that those teams are going to start beating each other up. You know, and they're going to start losing some games we think they shouldn't lose, but it's going to be interesting once you get into conference play and see who comes out on top. But the AFC West is looking, I mean, he's looking pretty good. Who's the fourth team in the AFC West?
That would be the Kansas City Chiefs.
No,
the Chargers. We ain't talking about the Chargers.
No, we haven't talked about the Chargers.
Beat the Chiefs.
Yeah,
to put them in last place. The Chargers look good as well.
Yeah, they do. They tough.
They look good as well. Their defense is better than I thought it was.
Yeah, they tough. Shout out to Keenan Allen, man. He's a dog. You know,
Keenan Allen, and it's crazy. He's not mentioned in the top tier.
Yeah, he never gets mentioned.
Receivers,
it's weird.
But he's actually a top tier receiver. If you look at his statistics from the last 3 or 4 years, his statistics, he's right up there with he's top 10 receiver, but he's not mentioned. He's rarely mentioned.
I live in his hometown and they don't talk about him here, which is crazy. I didn't even know he's from Greensboro, so I got to Greensboro.
That's crazy.
And like they don't even, I don't know. He's just a quiet dude who goes out and handles his business, but
he gets it done though. Keenan Allen's a dog. Shout out to Keenan Allen, man. Like,
yeah, man,
you're a dog.
He a real dog. For real.
Like, so let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, man. Are the Kansas City Chiefs? Have people figured them out? because they're are they missing anybody? Is there any injuries? Like I'm trying to figure out any built-in excuse that people usually have. But there's not. I can't find any reason.
Yeah, I don't know if there's an excuse. The defense stinks. I know that.
That's been evident
That's
for
a
years.
fact. And I think now, I can't. Well, I don't know if teams have figured them out, but they're so reliant. And I think we talked about this before. They're so reliant on Patrick Mahomes to just, pull a rabbit out the hat and do some magical shit on the field that, they get in these bad situations and they don't panic, which is a good thing that they don't panic, but they just expect him to always have the upper hand.
But playing with some pace and playing with some, some intensity is not the same as panicking. Like you gotta pick it up a little bit. Like, even though you expect to win, you still gotta pick it up a little bit. You still gotta play a little harder. I feel like that.
They don't play with any urgency.
Yeah, they don't play with any urgency.
They don't play with any urgency.
So I feel like no matter what happens, they feel like, well, we got Pat. Like we'll be all right.
Exactly.
Like, yeah.
So the Kansas City Chiefs offense has the second highest turnover percentage in the league.
See, that leads directly into what we're saying. That's urgency. That's being lackadaisical and not, not being disciplined out there on the field.
I've seen Pat Mahomes throw some passes that should have been intercepted.
He threw a no-look interception on Sunday, and I think some of this he felt himself a little bit too much.
Yeah, I think it's time to stop. Like the no-look thing was cool when he first did it because oh man, he really threw a no-look pass in a football game. Now he does it like every other game, and I think it's enough.
But it's hard to not smell yourself when you're in every commercial, when every headline, when people are already crowning you the greatest quarterback they've ever seen in their life, and these guys are 60 years old. So they lived through Dan Marino, the Warren Moons, the Brett Favre, the Peyton Mannings. They lived through all these eras, and they're calling him the greatest. And we're still in the Tom Brady era, and they're calling him the greatest quarterback they've ever seen. Like
half a billy, 503 million.
Yeah.
How can you not feel yourself with 503 million? But but it's catching up to them. They just seem to be a little bit a little bit cocky, a little bit arrogant.
They've had a rocky start. Man.
That's what I think that they struggle until they kind of humble themselves. And hopefully this last loss humbles them. Well, I hope they suck. You know what I mean? So I don't care.
I really hope they stink.
Yeah, I think we play them later on.
They play the Eagles next week, and
that'd be a bounce
then they got the Bills, which will probably be a tough game, and then after that they got Washington. They got some kind of gimmies in here, but it's all mixed. They don't have too many gimme games. They have a gimme, and then they got a tough one, and that's kind of like how they're hosted because after they got Washington, they got the Titans, which won't be an easy one. Then after that, they got the Giants, and then they got your Packers after that. And
but when you're a premier team in the NFL, you're going to play premier teams in the NFL.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're a good team, you're going to play good teams.
Mind you, let's not forget any given Sunday. So I can't even say I didn't even mean to say gimmies because they could lose any of those games.
For sure.
And really those losses that they had, they lost to the Chargers by 6. They lost to the Ravens by 1. So it's not like they get they turn the ball over like crazy and they still in one possession game. So
they should have lost to the Browns.
Yeah, they should be 0-3.
Just to be clear, they should be 0-3.
But they're just good enough to be that sloppy and still be close.
They could be 3-0, but they could also. I don't want to get too far gone, but I think that they need to tighten up some screws.
Every year, there's one team that they expect to ball out who winds up out of the. Now, I ain't gonna say it's them, but every year somebody don't make it.
Oh yeah,
it's only
usually the Cowboys.
It's what 2.
It's normally the Cowboys.
Every year.
They find a way to lose 4 games in a row. Do they let Washington slip into the playoffs with some weird stuff? It always What Washington get in because they beat the Cowboys twice, but they got a tied record. They both 8-8.
8-8.
Yeah, but they beat them twice. Like then now they in. Like it's like all right, man.
It's the NFC least for you.
Yeah, but anyway, let's get off the. I'm tired. My bad. I won't bring up the Cowboys again. Let's go over to the NFC West, and we're going to talk about that. Possibly is the best.
That probably is the best division, top to bottom.
Best division in football, but the Arizona Cardinals are now 3-0. They played the Jags. We expected them to beat the Jags. The Rams,
San Fran and Seattle.
San Francisco and Seattle. So that's
a
really
tough division.
That's a really good division.
You got a Pro Bowl quarterback
and
pretty much on every team.
Not Jimmy G.
Well,
Not Jimmy.
Yeah,
maybe not.
maybe in the future, Trey Lance is okay. They gonna be
backwards pass
Jimmy G is he's an above average quarterback. I feel like he's an above average quarterback.
Ooh, so hold on. So where are you ranking Teddy Bridgewater? Is he above him and because like Teddy Bridgewater to me is above average quarterback.
Okay, maybe he's a tad bit below.
Okay, so like Jimmy G's an
average
quarterback.
Yeah, he replacement level.
Like he's a filler quarterback.
Okay, yeah.
If he would have stayed in New England, he could have been a better quarterback, I think, for the systems, and he was groomed to be there. Like when he left there, it was kind of like he looking real funny in the light. But are we serious about the NFC West, and are the Cardinals for real? Do you think the Cardinals are for real, or do you think they had a favorable schedule so far?
I think they have I think it's a little bit of both. I think they are. I think they showed a lot of signs last year of being a good team. Because correct me if I'm wrong, Zig. I think they started off pretty decent last year, or kind of. I think they got hot at some point during the year last year.
Early.
But this year I think they're rounding in the form. Obviously, Chandler Jones bringing in J.J. Watt. Hopkins is out there, and also they have AJ Green, and then Kyler Murray has another year under his belt. So I like Arizona, man. I think they're a tough team, but I don't know if they're. I don't know. Yeah, I like Arizona. I was gonna say I don't know if they're better than Seattle, but Seattle has to show me. Like I can't keep saying Seattle and them being one of those top teams. And the last couple of years, they haven't quite lived up to what everybody perceives them to be.
So last year, the Cardinals came out the gate 5-2, and he went in the gate 2-5. So
you walk it over here, but you limp it back.
Yeah, see, so that's what I'm saying. Like they started hot last year, and I think they got but I feel a little bit more better about them this year than I do last year.
Yeah, they're a little bit more stable at running back, and I think that's going to help Kyler Murray with James Conner back there as a backup. He started for the Steelers last year. For him to come over there, I think that stabilizes that backfield, and with any type of running game, that helps Kyler Murray.
But you know what? This week, we gonna see.
We gonna see
because they got the Rams.
Yeah, they got the Rams.
They got a tough schedule. They go Rams, 49ers, Browns.
Oh,
that's the gauntlet. They can easily be 3-3.
Them next 3 weeks is gonna really show who they are.
Then they play the Texans. Then they play the Packers. Then they play the Then they play the 49ers. Then they play the Panthers, who are also 3-0.
Yeah, this I don't know if they'll be. The Panthers will have a few more losses.
I said it, but I mean it.
That big win over the Texans.
They had a pretty good. They had a favorable. They played the Texans,
the Jets,
and then the Saints at home. So
without the whole Saints offensive staff because of COVID, so they ain't played.
They haven't played anybody. That was a pretty favorable schedule. But I think that we're gonna see. We're gonna see what Arizona made of in the next couple of weeks. It's gonna be an interesting month for them. The month of October is gonna be very interesting for Arizona. But I think that they're gonna, if they can come out of the month of October 2-2. I think that's a pretty
a win for them.
Yeah, that's a pretty good bump. Man, we're going to talk about, I'm going to let you take the lead on this, Zig. That 66-yard field goal.
I'm not even a I'm not even a Ravens fan, and I was just like, I like lost it like whenever it happened. Like,
did you break anything?
I didn't break nothing. I almost passed out. But the thing about that, you know, the record and the field goal and all that is winding up in a position like that against the Lions where you need to break a record to beat the Detroit Lions and you get the good bounce. Like, that's a little, I don't know how to feel about Baltimore right now. You know, maybe it's just a classic letdown game after the big win. Marquise Brown dropped more open, easy touchdown. Like, it should have been a blowout, but you know, that's that Detroit luck. You know, that's how it's gonna be a long season for the Lions.
You know what? I feel like this was bound to happen the way that the Ravens celebrated beating Kansas City. Like, they almost took that as if it was like a playoff game. Yeah, like, it was kind of crazy. Like, John Harbaugh gave everybody a game ball. You know what I mean? Like, it was. Hey,
man, them Lions, you know, they fighting kneecaps over there.
No, I'm saying, like, against the Chiefs.
Oh yeah.
Like, they were celebrating.
That was their Super Bowl.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they were celebrating that win. Like it wasn't week 2. You know what I mean? Like, I thought that was crazy. So I had a feeling that they were gonna have a letdown. I didn't think they were gonna lose to Detroit because it's just Detroit, but their performance didn't really surprise me, just based off of the way that they handled beating Kansas City. Like, you know what I mean? It was a lot of emotion. You could tell they really wanted to win that game.
That was a weight off of them.
Yeah, and there was a lot of weight off of them. So a letdown was kind of bound to happen. Luckily, they still won the game for them because it was an amazing kick. So
Marquise Brown dropped 3 touchdowns in the first half. So I don't even know if it was a letdown. Like, he was a letdown.
Come on, man.
Yeah, man, you can't complain about
with those gloves that they have in the NFL.
They're like sticky gloves.
Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't drop multiple. Like 1, 2, if it's raining. With 3,
they were indoor, so there's no.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
no weather excuse.
No, I'm saying if it's raining, okay, I give you. But like, you dropping passes, like, bruh. I mean, I don't know, man. Like, you might have got hit and dropped it, but before, I don't know. I was trying to give you some benefit.
No, because the only reason why I even brought it up is because people gonna point to Lamar and be like, he can't throw the ball, and
well, that's what I'm saying. Like, you can't complain.
But that's what happened with quarterback.
You can't complain as a receiver for Baltimore about, you know what I mean, Lamar not throwing as much, and then you out here dropping, you know, three touchdown passes, which were gimmies. Like,
before we move on though, we do have to talk about the Raiders game. And we have to talk about it. Do we? It went to overtime, and they both scored field goals, and then the Raiders end up winning on a last-second field goal in overtime. I don't think I've ever seen that since they implemented the new rules, which is not whoever scores first. If you score a touchdown, it's over. But if you score a field goal, the opponents have a chance to score a field goal or a touchdown. And so I think that's the first time that I've seen that. And so that's why I'm talking about it. I don't want to talk about your heartache. But I did want to mention that was pretty interesting that it actually unfolded like that.
Yeah.
Go ahead. I got a lot to say.
Well, I was going to say, because I don't quite know the rules specifically, but if they would have missed, would it ended in like a tie or something like that?
Yeah, it's ties in the NFL.
Okay.
Yeah, so it would have been a tie.
And that would have been an appropriate ending. I feel like the Dolphins should go 8-1 this season. Yeah, it was interesting to see the way it played out. I wasn't sure if John Gruden knew the rule because he ran it down to the last second. It's like, just kick it already. Like, why are you running out the clock? If you score, you win. It doesn't but you know, it was an interesting game. There might have been a little bit of pass interference that saved the Raiders, but you know, good for them. They took advantage of the situation.
Is that a 4 o'clock game?
Yeah, that one was
the afternoon.
Yeah, because it was in Vegas, so you know, you being in Vegas, you might say that the refs had a little Donahue going on. You know,
man, I don't care what nobody says. It's impossible for the referees and to not be influenced by Vegas.
Yeah.
It's literally impossible for you to just walk around oblivious, like, well, I don't know what the line is, or I don't know what the over/under is. I don't know who's favorite.
It's
Like, you know, like, huh?
It's like everywhere out there.
Yeah, it's literally it's on
It's
ESPN.
like it's hard to like not see it. But you know, I'm glad you guys knew what was going on in that game because I was in the streets of Cleveland around that time, so I had no idea what happened to that game.
No, it was no. We were watching the game because it was part of my parlay.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying. So I'm watching the live stats like, what? What?
I get it, man.
What? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God! Like it was really unbelievable.
The city of Cleveland was celebrating another home win. And I was in the streets. So.
Yeah, you got, hey man, you better be safe out there, dude.
I'd rather been out there. I don't care who my team is.
It wasn't intentional, man. I was there for something else, and I kind of just got wrapped up.
Yeah, I know you had a good time. So we're about to talk about the wait moment of the week.
So goofy ass. Oh my gosh.
The Ohio State football player took his jersey off in the middle of the game. I didn't see it.
No, let's not just leave it at taking. No, he quit. He literally quit in the middle of the game. I don't know if he's been reinstated to the team as of Saturday or whatever, but he literally quit. And then you know the kids these days, the first thing he did was take it right to social media. Fuck Ohio State. Oh boy,
you can't do that. No matter how your emotions, you know, you can't do that. You got to be a little bit more level-headed. But it's always, to me, like it's always hard to be level-headed when emotions involved. Hopefully the kid, you know, I don't know that guy, and hopefully he finds some resolution to whatever upset him. I don't even know what led up to it. Maybe you guys have a little bit more detail about it.
Yeah, so he was coming into the game for one of his packages that was called, and the linebacker was already on the field, waved him off and told him to go back to the sideline. So and he must have really wanted to go at Akron because that just set him off on another level. You know, threw his gloves in the stands, took his jersey off, tried to leave. They escorted him. They brought him back out, and then they kicked him out. And yeah,
wait, hold on. Let's rewind this. Let me unpack a little bit of this. Who waved him off? Another player or a coach?
Another player.
You can't be mad at, like, you can't be upset at that, because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, the coach is gonna handle him.
It's Akron. Everybody gonna play.
We all gonna play.
Like you all gonna have that.
Eats beef.
Exactly. Y'all all gonna have your highlight tape for the draft. It's all gonna be running across the zips.
But you can't be that upset by a player waving you off. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can see if a coach like told you all week, this your package, and you about to run on, and he grabbed you like, nah. But if another player like wave you off, you can't forfeit your future because of another player.
Yeah, so I agree. Like, you know what I mean? You can be upset. It's fine to be upset, but to be that upset,
it makes no sense.
Like, is crazy to me, man. That's crazy.
But that was the moment of the week.
Goofy ass.
So hopefully that young man gets something situated where he's not kicked off the team, and you know they come to a resolution where he can continue to play.
Yeah, man. Because if he is kicked off the team, man, it looks bad for any other school that you're trying to go to. Because it looks like you.
Yeah, it's a wild situation.
Temper tantrums.
Right now they're saying they might let him keep the scholarship and stay in school, but they don't know if they want him back around the squad. So we see how it play out.
Suspending for a couple games, take him to some anger management, and just like, you know, I feel like
it's a teaching moment.
Yeah, like it's a great teaching moment. Don't make that moment that finite in his life.
Yeah, like, and that's why it won't even say his name. Not that, you know,
I don't even know.
You know, they kids still, and that's the thing that we forget about in college sports a lot is like, you know,
these 19, 20, 21-year-olds, man.
I done did so much dumb stuff when I was that age. Like,
Exactly. You get held against you for the rest of your life. The stuff I
Man.
did when I was
Right.
20.
You write a book on dumb shit at that age. Like,
man, like don't hold that against him, and hopefully he's able to bounce back from that. Okay, now the NBA training camp is starting soon, and we had
Yeah,
media day
buddy.
today.
It's that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Actually, you know, I don't know if you guys knew this first preseason game is actually on Sunday, Lakers Nets.
so that's pretty, like the NBA, they go from 0 to 100 pretty like quickly. Like it's
I don't think
kinda
they actually ever get to 0. I think they be at like
30.
They be at like 30.
Yeah, they kind of like they tone down and kind of
they tone it down because
There's always something going
they
on.
They always sprinkling a little something in
Oh
there.
no,
for you.
the NBA is like a TV show, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's like a mid-afternoon drama on ABC.
Even the broadcasters had drama this offseason. Like, what they doing at ESPN? Like,
Man, Paul
Yeah,
Pierce,
man.
what's my lady's name?
Rachel Nichols.
Rachel Nichols.
Got her
It's-
out of here quick.
Man, it was an interesting offseason with a lot of stuff, and to kind of wrap up the offseason with the media day was pretty cool. I think that they should stop asking guys certain questions.
Yeah,
You know,
that because I'm like guys, they're asking them certain questions, but we're getting even dumber answers.
I don't think you should ask these guys certain questions, and they're holding guys to a higher standard. They're holding athletes to higher standards than we hold our politicians, and I don't
That's always
think
been the case.
that don't make it right.
No, they don't.
You know, and I'm tired of seeing, you know, you asking the guy who you know he feels one way, right or wrong, how he feels. This is how he feels. And you're asking him inflammatory questions just to see him get riled up, just to see him answer a question. I think that's unfair, and I think it's misleading of the media. And I think that players should just be able to say no comment to asking personal questions about their life decisions. Like, even if whatever you decide, that's your decision. Like, you know, like just like how we used to vote, and it used to be our decision. Like, I choose who I vote for. I'm not going out here.
It wasn't an open discussion.
It wasn't an open discussion. I think that they're putting too much. They shouldn't be asking these questions when they know, like, certain guys are already one way.
Yeah, you know, media day is supposed to be a real lax day for these guys. They're coming in, they're having fun. You know what I mean, doing silly stuff with the pictures and you know what I mean, because they're about to head into training camp. You know what I mean, and
so it's like one big, like, you don't let some steam off.
yeah, you know what I mean. You don't want to be hit. You don't want to be bombarded with questions that you, quite frankly, that you've probably already had to address. Seeing how, you know, social media is such a big thing and stuff like that, and everything that these players do hits the news. So, you know what I mean, you don't want to have to deal with that. So I definitely agree.
They put Steph in a real tough spot, because it's also one thing to ask that person, another thing to start asking other people about somebody's personal decisions. And you know, Steph being Steph, he handled it well, but you could tell he was kind of annoyed that he was even being asked this, which if you're on Steph's team, you don't really want him to be annoyed with you. Like, you know, that's, you got to play your position. But there's to me, it is you can't be upset about the information that they are spreading if you are letting them use your platform to spread that information. So if you're putting it on ESPN to dunk on whatever they're saying, you're amplifying that message that you claim you don't like. So the media got to play their role in this. Like you said, either don't ask the question or don't make it the headline. Like, if that's what your real concern is. I don't think they'd be consistent.
That's all we seen all day was the taglines of who's vaxxed and who's not vaxxed. Like, you know, and that shouldn't be the headline going into an NBA season. That shouldn't be the first thing that we're talking about. And when
so much that it's never about basketball.
It's never, because it's, I mean, but you got to build up storylines. You got to build up the drama. You got to make it, because people, they to the point where they don't just want basketball. Like, all right, like, I like watching basketball, but I want something else. Like, I want, like, give me something else. Give me something else on top of it. Like, no, just watch basketball. Like, you know,
they don't cover the NFL like this.
No, because the NFL also wear helmets. You know, there's some guys in the NFL who are very great players, who could walk down the street unnoticed. Like, you know, Keenan Allen, just like we were talking about, is a great NFL player. If he came to Akron and was walking down the street, nobody would know who he was. Like, not saying that he's not a great NFL player, but it's just how it goes with, you know, with NFL guys.
It makes you living with something over your face.
Yeah, like your face is covered, you know, and it's 60 of y'all. You know, in basketball, it's 15 players on the team, and you out there half naked.
It's 10 on the court at one time.
Yeah,
so.
not 22. So, I mean,
if you're a star player at that,
it's over with.
You know, the NBA, they broadcast their star players more than any other league. So.
They make it a star league,
Yeah.
But that's what you, when you make it a star league, you get stars who kind of run it. And so, since we talked about stars who run things, we're going to talk about the Utah Jazz trainer who quits, air quotes, this before the season started because he had a disagreement with Donovan Mitchell in the playoffs last year about his ankle. So the story is Donovan Mitchell ankle was injured and he wanted to play. The trainer held him out. They lost the game, which extended the series. Then Mike Conley got hurt, and then they ultimately lost the next series because Mike Conley was hurt. I don't think the trainer was wrong for doing his job. You know, it's ultimately his job to just give a professional opinion about the assessment of his health. Like, you know, but when you make somebody upset who has that kind of star power, you got to go.
Hey man, you know, that's first off, Utah is a small market. Great franchise historically, as far as always being able to contend, but it's a small market. And they have
and it's known for being racist.
Yeah, that's
you know, when you got a black star and is known for being racist, and
you don't want to add on reasons for him to not want to be there. And if he feels that way, and he's a star player, and Donovan Mitchell is a hell of a player, then hey,
Donovan Mitchell top 20.
Yeah, I think so.
Top 20, top 15. Pushing
close. Close though.
Yeah.
I think I'll put him like closer to the back end of 15.
Like 15?
Like 13 to 15.
13. So he better, so he's not better than Paul George. I was just asking.
Better than Paul George?
I was just asking.
We need to keep revisiting that. We're going to find out exactly where we put him by the end of the year.
I was just asking. My bad, man. I shouldn't ask. But I think that when you rub a guy the wrong way and he has that kind of influence with the team kind of had to fire him or ask him to leave or whatever. But he wasn't wrong.
There, no disrespect to any trainers out there, but there are a lot of trainers out there.
It ain't a lot of Donovan Mitchell.
It ain't a lot of Donovan Mitchell. So
it's weird, but I didn't really know about Donovan Mitchell until he got to the league. Was he like that at Louisville?
He was good at Louisville. He wasn't like that at Louisville.
Yeah, whenever he got drafted, everybody didn't go, "Oh, that's a steal."
No, I mean Louisville's offense isn't like, you know, well, especially because he was there when Patino was there. So it's not like the offense was just like, you know, guns blazing out there. He was probably a little restricted out there. He definitely probably took a lot of people by surprise, but no, he wasn't like that at Louisville. But you know, more power to him, because you know what I mean. Obviously, once he hit that NBA floor, and he's seen all that space, he started going crazy.
He took off. They called, you know, a little mini D Wade. You know, D Wade if you like D Wade, you'll love Donovan Mitchell. He like that. He like the dollar store version.
D Wade trying to take him on his way. You know, get part owner out there in Utah, trying to, possibly keep him in Utah a little bit longer. Yeah. But you know what I mean. That probably
that's weird. Anyway, why would D Wade be an owner in Utah and not in Miami?
I don't know, man. D Wade said that the negotiations ain't really negotiate the way he was like, so he kind of chose to go elsewhere. At least that's what I heard.
Dang, how do we get all the way to all right, we digress.
I don't know. We be going left sometimes.
Yeah. So what you think, Zig?
I mean, the ankle was obviously a problem. He had to rehab it over the summer still. So even when he got back out there, he shouldn't have been out there. And it is your job to protect the players from themselves sometimes, because the thing is, if this went the other way and he cleared them, and Donovan Mitchell had the Grant Hill ankle issues for the rest of his life, then that would have been on the trainer as well. So, you're kind of in a no-win position because the players do have the power, especially the smaller the market, the more power pretty much, because you're not going to get another Donovan Mitchell out there. They got lucky to get Donovan Mitchell right after Hayward. So, Donovan said he wouldn't have held a grudge or anything like that. He got the spotless image. They had the back and forth with Rudy with Donovan too. So I don't know if,
they keep testing Donovan, man.
Yeah, there might be some weight that he has to throw around or that he is throwing around and we don't know about that he's throwing around.
If Rudy get traded, I know so.
But if Rudy get traded, you probably don't got him getting much back. So
2 second rounders. That's just the best I can do.
Yeah, it's a no-win situation for the trader. And he knew at the end of the year probably like, this was my last day.
Man, if he was smart, man, he would have already been looking for other gigs.
I'd make him fire you. They got to give you a severance package.
They said that he wanted to pursue other opportunities, but I imagine if your job is like team trainer, you start pursuing those in the off season when the teams don't have trainers. This ain't a good time to be pursuing a new job right before the season starts.
They already those positions.
Yeah, he gonna miss a check.
Yeah, he probably got a severance package. Hopefully. So the Denver Nuggets has just extended, says Woj or whoever, the Michael Porter Jr. a max contract.
$207 million.
That's the epitome of paying someone off potential.
Before we get deep into the Michael Porter Jr. thing, now that makes 4 NBA teams who have 3 max guys. Okay, the Denver Nuggets, Brooklyn Nets, the Los Angeles Lakers, and the Golden State Warriors.
Who's the third for Golden State?
Andrew Wiggins. So Andrew Wiggins.
So it seems like 2 out of the 4 teams know how to spend their money.
They were the Golden State Warriors never signed Andrew Wiggins. They traded for him. He already had a max contract, which kind of makes it worse because you knew he had that coming in.
I mean, they got Wiseman off of that, and the pick this year too. They got
2 for 1.
2 first rounders from Minnesota.
Yeah, 2 first rounders and a solid.
That was a dumb trade from Minnesota.
They really wanted D'Angelo Russell
to keep Cat happy.
Yeah, man, he ain't happy either.
Well,
we need to.
Yeah, but
somebody need to give Cat a hug. And that dude be doing a lot.
Yeah, Cat. I mean, he went through a lot this off season.
Man, he lost like 50 pounds due to the COVID.
And he lost 7 family members. I think I read.
Yeah,
more than that.
It was 7, but then he also went into like, I don't know if you saw it at the T-Wolves Media Day, because why would y'all watch the T-Wolves Media Day? But he went on a very long rant about all of the instability that there's been in Minnesota since he got in the league.
I actually seen that.
His coach died. GM just got into that weirdness.
What did the GM do? He did something where he got. Didn't he get fired? The president got fired.
Yeah, he's president and GM. He had a bad workplace environment. He had some relationships going on that shouldn't have been going on. He was
having sex with somebody that worked for him.
Yeah, he's just doing whatever.
Yeah, he was. I mean, but
I have to say this.
I said that 2 teams of the 4 have championship potential.
Oh,
Golden State. We're basing Golden State off of health.
No, that's not my.
I would say
I don't believe in Denver at all.
I don't. I mean, no, that's just me personally. I don't think.
No disrespect.
Yeah, I think Denver. They do. I mean, I don't. Unless maybe they show me, and I think not like Mike Malone. He was here in Cleveland, spent some time here. He can get you there. Like, I think his point is his point. Like, he gets you right there. And then that's as far as he can get you. And he also throws players under the bus too when they lose.
Yes.
And
Then Jamal Murray's coming off an ACL injury as well, right?
Yeah, he's not coming back to the end of the year, probably. I just, before Jamal Murray got hurt, I thought that they was going to win it last year. After they got Gordon and it was going smooth with Gordon.
Oh, you meant for like a month, you thought. Like, it's probably a couple of weeks. They had a good couple of weeks.
I mean, they had the stretch. Jokic was balling, so it's hard for me to count them out, but
standing on the hill by himself, there's it.
It's hard for you to count them out, but it's also hard for you to count them.
Yeah, definitely. I'll give y'all that for sure. They like second tier.
Yeah, and they extended Gordon this year too.
Oh, I forgot about that.
They extended Gordon as well.
That's what makes the Michael Porter.
It makes no sense.
Even more crazy because they're not the same player, but
it's
they're very similar.
Like signing Kyle Kuzma to $200 million.
Is that Michael Porter's Kyle Kuzma?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
I think he's better than Kyle Kuzma.
I don't care. No, he is very similar, man. Like they're very similar. When I say they're similar, I mean that they're 6'10", they score the ball, they play zero defense, and they have a very limited basketball IQ.
Well, one is a lot younger than the other.
I don't care how. I mean, I'm saying like this is his trajectory. This is where I see him going. Obviously, he's going to be better. Like I'm saying, I'm not saying they're identical. I'm saying he puts me in the mind of him. Like Michael Porter Jr. puts me in the mind of Kyle Kuzma. He has good flashes. He can score the ball.
It's funny. I feel like Kyle Kuzma actually played his best basketball against Michael Porter Jr.
Because he ain't gonna guard me. I ain't gonna guard you. It's like the pickup. I ain't gonna guard you. You don't guard me.
It was last year in the bubble, or I guess 2 seasons ago in the bubble.
Yeah,
that's really weird. Last year was actually 2 NBA seasons ago.
Shit. Yeah, you got to bring the calculator out.
Yeah, that's really wild.
You know who them two remind me of? That Spider-Man meme when they both point at each other. But they're very similar to me. He don't play great defense. He don't have a high basketball IQ. He don't make anybody around him better. I just want to know the criteria of signing max guys. Like, what makes you give him all this money?
The criteria is very loose, whatever it is.
It's
very loose.
Hey man, you average, what do you average? 20?
Who?
Michael Porter Jr.
No.
He didn't average 20 points this year?
No. I could almost justify it a little bit more if he averaged 20, but no.
I mean, I'm gonna just say I personally don't agree with the signing. A max player, you're supposed to be able to carry a team.
He got the 19. So he's right there.
So he
was 19. Okay, I didn't know he averaged that much.
I'll give him the 20 if he averaged 19. I thought he was down.
I thought it was a little bit lower.
I just don't think it was a good signing.
This kind of justifies what all the old heads be talking about these guys and everybody and all that other stuff. So I kind of feel him when it comes to this kind of stuff, but
I don't think he's that good. That's just me. Like, I think you can find a 6'10" person who can score. I don't want to say really. Like, so he's like Christian Woods, like, you know what I'm saying? Like that,
yeah, right now I'd probably rather have Wood. I mean, right now, but projecting out is something different. But
salute to his agent, man.
Whoever his agent
is, man.
Good job, man. I'm proud of you,
man. You did your thing.
You did.
I think it's the small market thing, though, because I think they wanted to get the years on him. So that if they do deal him because of Gordon has that same contract, a small market team don't have to think, well, can I re-sign this guy? Because you got him locked in. So that's the only reason that it would make sense. But now you got to come up with a salary to match all of that $200 million. Like, that's the hard part. But
trade 4 people.
Yeah, like, but
have they paid Joker yet?
Yeah,
Joker got $241 million.
Okay, and they paid Jamal.
All 3 of them. They make 3. Those are the 3 max guys.
Okay, yeah. So Gordon's extension wasn't max.
No, he didn't get a max.
Okay. But it was like 92.
It was just a lot of fucking money.
He got
92. He got less than half of what he got less than half of Michael Porter. So
And that's like
like Michael Porter at 200.
man,
He didn't get 100.
Man,
So, you know what? They were going to lose their depth because what Denver is really known for is having a pretty deep team, and you can't pay all these guys. So they're going to start to lose some of these guys because they're going to have to, you know what I mean?
Gary Harris is.
They're going to have to. Well, they already lost Gary Harris.
See?
Yeah, Jamal Murray only got 170. So Jamal Murray got less than Michael Porter Jr.
Man, that's crazy.
Man, I got to move on. I got to move on, man. They just got mad, man. So we talked about the Lakers frequently for obvious reasons. They're NBA front runners. Oh, not front runners, but they're in the conversation for the championship. And we talked about who's going to play point guard for them. I think Kendrick Nunn just helped himself just a little bit with signing with Clutch.
Me personally, even before the whole Clutch signing thing, I thought he was going to play. I thought he should play. You know what I mean? Just because of his age and exactly what they need out there, I thought he would have been on the spot. But signing with Clutch is never a bad idea when you're on the same team as one LeBron James.
Get down or lay down.
Here, get down here, lay down. Lay down, you're going to stay down.
Exactly.
So I think, but we always talk. So I think that kind of put the nail in Rondo's coffin to me, because you can't play them both. And maybe I'm putting too much on Trevor Ariza and who's that? They got the other guy, the shooter, the wing.
Bazemore?
No.
Wayne Ellis.
Wayne Ellington.
Yeah, Ellington.
Maybe I'm putting too much in my mind, because I would play Wayne Ellington and Trevor Ariza a lot.
What's funny is that they actually, I watched the Lakers Media Day thing today on NBA TV, and they were projecting the starting lineup, and they had Wayne Ellington and Trevor Ariza in there as well.
See,
that was who they had start.
See, that's my thought process. Like this, maybe I'm putting too much on those two guys to play a lot. Yeah. Maybe they will start games and finish games, but maybe they won't play a lot. Like, you know, because there's a lot of guys. There's a lot. THT, Melo, what's the Malik Monk?
Yeah.
Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah.
Bazemore is there, like you know, he's there.
This is what I'm saying, man. I feel like there's going to be a lot of pressure on Frank Vogel. He just got an extension too, which is crazy. But there's going to be a lot of pressure on Frank Vogel because he has a lot of talent and a lot of guys.
It's hard to manage, and it's hard to manage
It's
talent.
not very easy to do.
It's hard. It's easy to play five guys and just go out there and, you know.
Because this is very well, mind you, you know what I mean, take their age into account. You know what I mean, obviously we get there, have a lot of older players. But talent-wise, since Vogel got there, this might be their most talented team.
Since he's been a coach.
Like, this might be the most talented team he's ever coached. Like,
but I think this is what I think will have to happen. I think that to make all this work, LeBron's going to have to play less minutes.
Yeah, and we'll see how they can get him to buy into it, because, you know,
he don't believe in that.
So, but I think the beauty of them having, they got 8 players with more than 10 years of experience. I don't think they all gonna want all those minutes until you get to April, May playoff time.
But situation, you can't wait. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just turn it on, turn it off. Like, I can't play all these guys all this time.
They're gonna have to play. He's gonna have to play with a lot of different lineups. Like, he's gonna have to play with a lot of different lineups.
And AD's gonna have to start at the 5.
Well, and he said it. He said he's playing the 5. He said it himself. So that's the bed. But now you got DeAndre just chilling, because I imagine Dwight's going to be the first backup.
The thing that I kept hearing a lot with the Lakers, with their like broadcasting and stuff today, is how good AD looked. Pause. As far as like his strength and like his, you know what I mean, the muscle that he's put on in the off season. So you know what I mean. I think he knows he has to play. He's gonna have to play the 5. Now,
I don't know why he have to get bigger to play the 5. There's not many post-up centers, if any.
Like, you don't want to play him against Embiid, and like you don't really like. They played him against Jokic already, because Jokic will stand outside. He ain't gonna really. If Jokic is in there trying to bruise you, he will bruise you.
Well,
but if you win better that way.
They won because the White
came in and did it. But I would rather Jokic get them 2 at a time, than stand outside and get
Yeah,
everybody
that's what
else
they're gonna
3.
do. That's
Pick 'em
what
apart.
they're gonna. I feel like the DeAndre Jordan is probably more of like an insurance policy as far as guys like
DeAndre Jordan didn't
Embiid
play a lot
or-
last year.
Huh?
He didn't play a lot last year. So
We played in like what 60 games, I believe.
no, I meant like a lot of minutes.
Oh no, he didn't. He didn't play a lot for the Nets.
He
I
wasn't
don't
happy
think that-
about it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
I don't think that. I don't. And the way they played, it was really no need for him. I think he can find. Like I say, it's not gonna be a lot, but I think he fits more with what the Lakers do.
Yeah,
than
I
what
mean,
Portland did.
I think a lot of guys is going to play a little bit of minutes. Like, that's the only way it's going to work.
You're just gonna have to, but I think that for the Lakers, that might be a good thing because since they have all these older players, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
playing a smaller amount of minutes, but being able to give maximum effort in those minutes might benefit them because their players are older.
Yeah.
So it might work out for them.
Just the center thing. Anthony Davis did say, obviously, there's times where Dwight or DeAndre might get to start at center depending on the game. So, but he does expect to be playing the 5 for the most part. But
He's not,
yeah,
I don't see him starting at center for all 82.
yeah, no, he said,
don't
you
even
know, some
play all
matchups.
Yeah, he don't play all 82.
Yeah. Because I don't want to see him out there trying to guard Embiid. I just think that it's not.
I think they're going to double Embiid regardless. So why not start him? If we're going to, like, you know what I mean? If our game plan is to double, why not start him?
Hey,
Our
man,
most
you got
agile.
You got 2 big boys out there with 6 fouls. You might as well.
No, I mean they're going to play. But I'm saying don't mess up with the starting lineup because of who you're playing. Still
And that's just going to be a couple of games because Philly ain't going to the finals. Like, let's be real with everything that's happening there. But we're not going to talk about that this episode.
No, we're going to skip right over. We're going to Euro right over.
Euro right past that.
But we will talk about what Jason Kidd, who was a former Lakers coach, he did mention in his media day that Luka the Don needs to rely on his teammates a little bit more. I think that's
It's a weird comment.
Yeah, like I think you shouldn't say that publicly. I think you should definitely say it to him, but I don't think you should say that publicly unless he did say it to him first.
Honestly, I don't know what he's talking about. I don't feel like Luka. I feel like his teammates, aka Porzingis, I don't think his teammates show up for him more than him not trusting or having faith in his teammates. I mean, I'm sure he has faith in Tim Hardaway because he's gonna let it fly regardless. He don't care. I like Tim Hardaway, by the way.
Yeah,
But, but some of Luka's teammates, I don't feel like have played up to their standard. So that to me, that's just a weird comment because I don't see what he's talking about.
The roster's not that good.
No,
Yes, rely on who, but
like Darius Finney-Smith, you would be relying like no disrespect to him. He's a good NBA player.
yeah, he's a quality contributor, but you ain't gonna rely on.
What's the other light skinned boy's name? Yeah,
he's like a garbage man. Like,
yeah, but I'm saying like who? Like if you look at
that's what I'm saying.
Who's out here? Who am I supposed to rely on?
I think that's like a comment that would like it's like he's trying to cater to Kristoff or something like that. Because that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Like,
wasn't he injured?
They were expecting bigger things out of him this year. He wasn't injured. He was injured he was hurt.
Man, he was there last year and he played like poo butt.
Yeah,
my guy's 7'3" and he shoots too many jumpers.
He claims that was the fault of Carlisle and he don't want to play like that, and that's part of the reason why Carlisle is not there anymore is because Porzingis wasn't happy. He wanted out. So
there's two things
they have to cater to his feelings now.
Don't cater to his feelings.
There's two
Carlisle
things.
brought you the chip.
There's two things that I need to address in that statement. See,
notepad ain't nothing to you.
First of all, Porzingis should not have the power to get an NBA champion and perennial playoff coach not extended, fired, or whatever the situation was. He should never have that type of power. That's the first thing. The second thing, nobody, and I mean nobody on this earth can make you do something you don't want to do. So if you out there shooting threes, that's because you wanted to shoot threes. Like, you know what I'm saying? A coach could put you in a position, but you out there doing what you wanted to do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like don't sit up here and say, I'm only shooting. When you shot it, you only shot it at what, 20%? When you shot whatever you shot, like, okay, like whenever you did, whatever you did, like you did that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't sit up here.
I think Porzingis, this is just my personal opinion. I didn't hear nothing. I don't know that, man. You know what I'm saying? But
ironically, I met him when he was like 16 in where's he from? Latvia.
Yeah.
I was in his city for a preseason tournament.
He was 7'4". How tall was he then?
He was 6'10". He was 16. Came up to me and was like, "Hey, Romeo, can we take a picture?" Weirdest thing ever. So I was like, "All right, cool." Then like 5 years later, he get drafted. I'm like, "Hey, yo, like I met this kid." Like, the craziest thing in the world. He deleted me off his Twitter though. That did happen.
That's cool stuff.
No,
but I think
That's to throw notepads for.
No, I was upset with the blaming of coach. Like I hate.
That's what he said though. You know, I wasn't put in a position.
But I personally think that Porzingis is a tad bit jealous of Luka's success so quickly in Dallas, and I might be off a little bit. I don't know, but I feel like that's a real thing. I feel like when Porzingis was getting traded to Dallas, I thought he probably thought it was going to be like a 2-man star team, like we're going to be one of the best duos in the league, and all that. No, it's just Luka and everybody else, like, and that's not Luka's fault. It's just Porzingis not holding up his end of the deal.
He's been injured, and he's not playing well, and I guess he wasn't put in position to be successful.
Yeah, I want to hear what you have to say about that a little more though, because you got the experience. You know how much input a coach has versus a player.
No, a coach controls your positions on the floor, right? Like he controls where he wants you on the floor, but he don't control what happens when you're there. So if you're shooting a 3-pointer and you don't make it, you didn't have to shoot that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if you 7-3 and you doing 1 dribble pull-ups, like, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody's making you do these things. Like you may be out on the wing, but you can also backdoor. You can also see you got a 6'4" guy in front of you and turn and post him up. Like, you know what I'm saying? Those are things that are very possible. Like, just because a coach tell you to do something, like obviously you want to respect what your coach is saying, but at the same time, like, bro, nobody's making you do nothing. Like if you shoot the ball, make the shot. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's nothing like bro, if you don't want to shoot, pass it to somebody else. But you out here shooting threes and say, I didn't want to shoot that. Like what? Like what? Like don't shoot it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what are you talking about? Well, yeah, I should shot this 1 dribble pull up. Like, bro, you 7-3. And you doing all this and you blaming somebody else.
I don't know, man. I think Porzingis is way too talented to not be producing at a much higher level. And he's trying to point fingers at other people. And he need to, point one finger at in 4 or 3 points.
One for, but you got a thumb, so I don't know where that point.
Yeah.
So I don't know either, but I guess
yeah.
like.
So look in the mirror, Porzingis. Whatever
You need to go like this.
Look in the mirror.
That's my whole point. Like, just start with yourself. Start with what you can control. Start with the things that you could have done differently. A lot of guys do a lot of finger pointing. Some of it is justified, but some of it is really like, take responsibility for what you're doing, how you're playing, and be a man. Like, and just take responsibility. I didn't play good. I took shots that I didn't make. I took some shots that I shouldn't have shot. That's not my game. Okay, we understand that. But if you saying coach put me in bad position or he had me playing and I don't want to play like that, like, bro, like you did that though. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you did that. So with that being said, I'm done talking for a day, man. This episode 7. He done made me mad, man. I'm about to go eat.
The end of every episode, we get you.
Man, every time, man. I'm right here just trying to leave on a peaceful note, man. I gotta go get my daughter a hug or something, man. She called my nerves.
My son called me right now, man. I'm AKA Sleepy Brown.
Sleepy Brown over here. All right, man. That's episode 7, man. It's your boy Romeo Travis, aka the Southpaw Outlaw.
It's your boy F. Anderson still with you.
It's your boy Ziggy. Little R&B in there, soften it up.
This is the quiet storm.
The quiet storm. Travis starts to call him Keith Perspiration.